Yes, people, what's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and this is your Brentford against Everton match preview. A game where Everton, who can't score goals, are going into this game having only scored 3 all season, one of those being against lower league Fleetwood. We take on a Brentford side who have scored 8 goals so far in the Premier League in 3 games. Couple of players who've scored 2 each in De Silva and Ivan Toney. Everton, although we're not conceding many goals, it's worrying to see where the goals are going to come from. It's frustrating because we all saw this from the start of the season when we didn't have a striker, Calvert-Lewin, getting injured 3 days before. And although, people like Frank have said, you kind of predicted that, his injury record isn't great, so you probably can say, in hindsight, you need 2 decent strikers, and unfortunately for Rondon, he's not decent. He's not decent at all. Everton go into this game, as I said, they've scored 2 goals in the Premier League, and one of those was an own goal by a former Everton defender. Defensively, we look all right. We look solid. Cody, Tarkowski, Holgate, I think all 3 of them have looked fine. Mykolenko and Patterson, I think they've looked fine defensively. I think Patterson has looked fairly promising going forward. I think I want to see a little bit more from Mykolenko going forward. Attacking-wise, Damari Gray, he's doing enough to stay in the team. Also, we don't have any options. McNeil, I completely question. I completely question the £15 million price tag. Now, I'm not usually one to sit here and go, I haven't seen anything. Like, I've seen nothing that has made me go, he's a player. Like, I've seen nothing. So I've got concerns on him. Anthony Gordon, I would be highly surprised if he is risked at this point, because all rumours appear to be leading to the fact that he's going to be joining Chelsea. Ken Wright needs to agree the deal, and Everton want a loan for either Brozier or Gallagher, etc, etc. We know the story. So I'd be surprised if we see him. Rondon will start because Everton, as usual, have not bothered doing anything fast enough in terms of bringing in a striker. We've been linked with Che Adams, who, I've got the hiccups, who is a good player. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say he's a bad player, because he's not. But if this is where we are, Che Adams and a non-proven Brozier, this Everton Football Club has fallen off. They've fallen off big style because, back in the past, I'm not saying that we were deemed a massive club. I'm not saying that. And I've had a few people in the comments from other teams saying, Everton are small, or Everton are average side. They can't expect to sign anyone. And look, it's a fair comment in some aspects. We haven't won anything in a long time. We would be deemed an average club by Premier League standards in terms of, where we finished over the years. So, look, I'm not going to sit here and say we're the biggest club in the world. But what I am going to say is, we're still bigger than most. Like, we're still a top 7 club, I would argue, in that Premier League. I would still say, on name at least, we are a top 7. And historically, we're bigger than that. We're top 4 or 5. So I'm cool with all of the rubbish that people say. Maybe 6. But I'm cool with all the rubbish people say. But I'm talking facts. Factually, in history, Everton are a big club. And then it's over the recent years, over the last 35, 40 years, where it's completely fallen off. And there's loads of clubs you can almost say that for. Nottingham Forest when they won the European Cup twice, Aston Villa won the European Cup, etc, etc. You can say all of this. But I would still say that Everton have pull. Everton can sign players. They've got Frank Lampard, who has got a pull. Whether people rate him tactically, whether people think he's good enough, it's immaterial. All of that is immaterial. He can pull because he's been at the top level. Just like when we had Carlo Ancelotti, he could pull. People would want to come in and play for him, etc. You get the gist. So, my argument is here. Why haven't we gone for a player like, I an Ivan Toney, who would cost more, but you know he's strong, you know he's quick, you know he can score the free kick, you know he'll get the end on a header. You know, why not a player like that? Why are we going for Che Adams, who, again, I have no doubt is a good player, but I don't think he's good enough. And that's my comment. So that's my worry. But anyway, going back into this game, we're going into it with Rondon. So all of these players we've been linked with have been a complete waste of time this week because we haven't done it. We haven't gone and got anyone over the line. We haven't changed. And it's getting to the point now where it is actual, like, professional negligence that this board is allowing Everton to be 4 games into this season and pretty much hoping that they get a result. Because let me give you some actual stats in opportunities created. Everton are 4th, I believe, in opportunities created, big opportunities. Yet we are 3rd bottom in conversion. That's because we need a striker. Because I'm telling you, last week, for example, against Nottingham Forest, you'd see Gordon cutting in on the right hand side and shooting with his left foot, and there were P rollers. There were P rollers, although there was one shot from outside the box, but it was a comfortable save. You need a clinical goal scorer who finds corners, top, bottom, where the keeper isn't, he finds the space, etc., etc. You need that, and this football club doesn't have that, not at all. Rondon doesn't even beat the defender, never alone getting and finding a bit of space in the goal. So that's pointless. So the fact we are going into this game, the 4th game of the season, it is absolutely appalling. Let me explain that. It is shocking on every level. It is a disgrace because Frank Lampard can literally only play with what he's got. Now, tactically, he makes mistakes. Tactically, he can be naive. I'm not completely sold on this 3-4-3 formation, etc. But honestly, when your focal point and your main striker currently is Rondon, what are we expecting? We're £600 million deep. Shocking. Anyway, so Brentford, in terms of goal scoring, they can score goals. Defensively, they've been a bit ropey. So they conceded 2 on their first game, the season 2-2 draw with Leicester. Played all right. They smashed Man United 4-0, and then they lost last week against Fulham 3-2. But my point is, they've been finding the net. They've been finding the net, and that's the caveat to this. That's the issue here. They've been finding the net. Now, Everton, defensively, I'd probably argue, I would say are better than all 3 teams right now that Brentford have played. And people are saying, Man United, I think we are. I think we are personally. Right as of right now, I think we are better defensively than the 3 teams that Brentford have played. The issue is, we're still giving away a goal and we're not scoring. So I know what my prediction is without this already, and my prediction is 1-0 to Brentford. And I hate to sit here and say that, like, it really agitates me. But while we haven't got a striker, I can't see a goal. The only reason Damari Gray scored last week was because he made a really, really good run over a really poor back 2 centre halves, and it was a clinical ball from Pickford. Brentford are not going to make that same mistake because they've been in the season, they've been in the Premier League a bit longer. I would say whether they play Hampson, whoever it is at the back, I would say stronger. So I don't think Brentford make that mistake. And as a result, I don't think we've got enough firepower, and we just give away that one stupid chance. So it's either going to be 0-0 or 1-0 for me. I absolutely pray that Everton win. But I can't see it. Because what Brentford will do is they'll play through our lines and we'll be fairly solid. Iwobi has been sensational, so he'll pull deep, he'll retrieve the ball, he'll carry the ball, he'll play it to a Damari Gray, for example, who will then carry the ball and either shoot or try and pass it into Rondon, etc. That's what will happen. But once teams start clicking on to the fact of that, we're going to struggle. Now, Tom Davies may well be out. Anana, we don't know if he's going to start. So, in terms of midfield, it's anyone's guess. It's anyone's guess because Doucouré is also injured. it is anyone's guess who's going to actually start. But it wouldn't surprise me if it is, if Tom Davies is fit, if it's Davies, and he won't be. And I have no issue with that. I don't have an issue with that. My issue is in front of them. And I just don't see where the goals come from. I do not see where we score a goal. Patterson's looked really good. He's been prepared to bomb on the right-hand side. He can beat a person, he can cross the ball, but Rondon's not beating his defenders, so it's coming to nothing. We'll play it short, maybe to Dwight McNeil. Maybe he'll shoot with his left foot and score a worldie that he occasionally does, but at this moment in time, he doesn't look like that Dwight McNeil, and he didn't all of last season, so there's your concerns. Demarai Gray, I feel like he's confident, and I feel like the only goal threat we have in this game is Demarai Gray. Now, I would really like it if he could score a goal or two. But I'm putting too much pressure on a lad that was coming for 1.5 million, and all of a sudden, in terms of attacking sense, you'd probably argue he's carrying the team. And anyone that tells me that Gordon will play, fair enough, like I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I think he'll sit on the bench. I think he'll be out of it. I think Frank's excuse will be taking him out of the limelight or the spotlight, whatever you want to call it. But the facts are, I think we're going to struggle. And when I look at Brentford and I look at the fact that De Silva and Tony have scored these goals and midfield have chipped in with a few and have got a decent goalkeeper, I just don't see us winning away from home. I literally have no confidence on us winning away from home. I didn't feel we were horrendous at Villa. I felt like we could have got a draw. I felt like we could have got a draw against Chelsea. I felt like we could have won against Forest. But all of those things would have happened if we had a goal scorer. And the fact we haven't, still, is criminal. So, look, I think Brentford beat us 1-0. I'm really sorry to say that. I am, truly, like I really am. I just think that's how it's going to go. I'm leaving it there, guys. Keep smiling. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with this football team, this football club. I'm not happy at all. But I'm an honest person. I always have been. And, yeah. Subscribe, like the video if you can. Make sure you do me a massive favour, because obviously the house move that's going on is all going on, and we're going to be kitting it out. So hopefully the garage is going to be big enough to install my own studio, etc. So any support you can make, i.e., send the link to some friends, get them to subscribe. If you could watch an advert, I'd really appreciate it. I do not charge for content, so I'd really appreciate it if you could do that for me. In terms of more shows, I'm home alone. I am home alone. So if any of you's got a Brentford ticket and you're not going, let us know. Seriously, let me know. I'm all over it. And one thing I'm going to say is I may do a live at 10 o'clock and start talking about our transfers. But let me know what you're feeling. Last thing, Ben, Everton, Diaz. Absolutely take him. 12, 15 million, I'll take him. I think he's a very, very good clinical goal scorer. Exactly what we need right now. And honestly, we should have done it on Monday. Should be done. He should be already in the club. So, that's that. Guys, I'm leaving it there. Keep smiling. Peace.